Right now, I'm talking with CJ Wallis, director of the soon-to-be released documentary Stus Show. How's it going today?
Fantastic, Aaron. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit about Stus Show?
Stu Show. It is a bi-weekly thing hosted by a film historian and classic TV expert Stu Showstack, who is a firecracker of an individual. And he gets on people that have been on classic TV, actors and directors and producers, animation experts, and all these people, and have these, deep dive 3-4 hour conversations with them where he brings up obscure things. And because his, as you'll see in the film or in the trailer, he's got a collection of all these rare prints of classic TV and things. So he, someone will come on and he'll bring up something that hasn't been seen since 1956. And when it was shown once. And these people just like, it's staggering. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So he's been doing, before Rogan or any of these people, he was out there doing these 4-hour long form, internet podcasts with these people. And they're really, they're really pretty great, even if you don't love classic TV.
Yeah. Now, how did you get the role as director for the documentary?
I had actually made a documentary called Perfect Bid before this one about a guy named Ted Slauson who memorized all the prices on The Price is Right and then went and messed with them. So we did a screening for that in LA, and Stu showed up and he invited us on the Stu Show, me and Roger Dobkowitz, the producer of The Price is Right. So we went on the show, and Stu's tradition is if you're taping the show at 4, he gets you there at 12 o'clock and you go for your lunch, and he sits there and he tells you everything under the sun. So he told me his story the first time about what happened in his life. And he told me a few things that you'll see in the movie, and just as a filmmaker, you're like, well, that's enough to hang my hat on. Yeah. And then the more you get to know him and how many people his life has been involved with, it's just like, it's candy for a filmmaker. It was a beautiful story to get out a lot of guilty pleasures for me.
Yeah. What was it like working or meeting all the, the TV legends and stuff that are interviewed in the documentary?
As someone that loves that era, there was nothing like it. Like you watch Mary Tyler Moore, you see every episode, and then you're sitting in the room with Lou Grant, and he's like being grumpy and sitting behind a desk, but he's also lovable. It's just, Ed passing recently, but we got to hang out with him a few times, at autograph conventions and things over the last 2 years, and got to know him pretty decently. And that's what I got into filmmaking for. You're a storyteller and all that, but as a kid, it's just like you hear the behind the scenes stories, and they always seem as interesting or more interesting as what happened on the screen. So yeah, it was never boring to, go to Wink Martindale's house and see like all this game show things and slot machines and stuff with his face and pictures of him with presidents. It's just like, them as game show hosts or as actors, and you get in their house and it's just like they've lived these insane lives being, Wink worked with Elvis back in the day. Like he put Elvis on. It's just like, that's wild.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, I can't even imagine how awesome that was.
Yeah.
How long did it take to shoot, or how long did how long was the filming process or the documentary, or when did you start, when did you end?
Yeah, I think we started it in the end of 2019.
Okay.
And then, COVID hit, so things got a little more tricky after that. So, I mean, we just pop into people's houses. We're in LA, so everybody is largely within a 30-minute Uber ride of us. So, I mean, that's basically the budget of the movie. We made it just, it's not a home movie, but it's basically like a little home movie of everybody that they're all in LA, and it's just a cool little LA story.
Now, what was the script like? Was there a script really? Or I've just kind of always wondered that about like documentaries. I mean, is it just kind of an outline of, some of the points you want to get, or, the people you want to interview, or what does that kind of look like?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've done a little bit of work with another documentary team, and they definitely, before they start, they get clips and transcribe them and cut them out and put them in an order. And I don't know, that's definitely not how I go about it. most of my films, I sort of just do all the jobs on myself.
Okay.
So it's just like, I don't necessarily need to write the script. When the editor in me is doing an interview and directing it, I'll hear something and go, okay, that's going in act 2, right? Like I'll just know immediately sort of where everything falls into place.
Yep.
So yeah, there's never a script on my things, but I mean, definitely people that have a team of people that, 15, 20 people involved in the process, there, it definitely helps organize and keep things concise that way. But I mean, I'm the only one that can confuse myself. So,
were there any difficulties shooting, or did you have anything, any difficulties?
No, just with the lockdown and things like that, and a lot of our cast members being older, and the paranoia when everything first happened of like, is everybody dying or is everybody getting very sick? It's just like very unknown. So just with that age group, we just needed to be careful, and it's very helpful that it's just me filming and my producer Mallory with me. So we could put the camera 10 feet back and bring the lens that zooms way in and stay away from everybody. It wasn't difficult.
Okay. Do you have any projects coming up that you're working on or can talk about?
Yeah. The next documentary that we're doing is on Bears quarterback Jim McMahon, who, if anybody knows him, he's personally one of the best people you'll ever meet in your life, if not the best. You meet him for a day and you lay down in traffic for the guy. There's nobody, for someone as big of a celebrity as he is, he shouldn't be as kind and humble as he is. And he's known for being the opposite of that. So it's,
okay.
So that movie is coming out at the end of the year. We just actually did executive produced our first film called Potty Town, which is about a guy in Syracuse, New York, or in Potsdam, New York, I'm sorry, who got in some legal issues with the city. They wouldn't let him sell his property to a Dunkin' Donuts, so he set up a porcelain protest that he made very beautiful, but it's very polarizing within the city. And it's been a viral story for the last 3 or 4 years. Like Vice magazine and a bunch of people have reported on it, despite it being this very small town issue. So that's going to be coming out probably in September as well. So those are the next 2 things. We definitely have more coming this year. We got a lot done during COVID.
Yeah.
So this next year is going to be a lot of releases. So hopefully people like our stuff, or they're going to be sick of us for sure.
Yeah. No, yeah. I got to actually watch a screener of Stus Show, and I thought it was great. It was very entertaining. You did just an awesome job with it. I just really like, the flow of it, and it's just, fun seeing all the interviews, and it was you told a really great story with it.
Oh, thank you. I grew up, Paul Thomas Anderson was one of my early heroes, and Robert Altman and Scorsese, these guys that are known for sort of these ensemble movies. So anytime I can get 14 people in a project that I can bounce around and if you're interviewing Stu, you will just have to say, hi, how are you? And then your interview's done. 20 minutes later, you'd be like, okay, thanks. So
I get that feeling.
So anytime I could cut away, it was useful. So it's just, I'm glad that it flows like that, because that's, those are the stories that I love the best and are the most fun to tell. So
yeah.
Hopefully I think people will fall in love with Stu. They just have to get over the initial sort of grenade you might get hit with.
Yeah, it's a shock when you first see him, and it's like, is he really like that in person? But as you watch the documentary, you get the feeling that that's how he is. And
then as certain things get worse and worse, during the story, it's his manicness is definitely justified. He's been through some things, so so just forgive him and make it to the end. I promise you'll want to hug him, or you'll be crying, or you'll feel good. I promise.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Well, CJ, thank you for taking the time to do this interview with me. And everybody that's watching, I just want to highly recommend that you guys check out Stus Show. It'll be released on demand on May 2nd, I believe.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.